So here we are with what I hope to be my last version for a long time. I've actually had this done for a while, but I got caught up in Season of Discovery for World of Warcraft, so I've been playing that. And because I was dwelling on a prototype, and I ended up just saying it wasn't worth uh, troubleshooting all the last little bits of it compared to the one I'm bringing out today, and I'll show you. So this is where we left off. This was the 12 game tick. Um, I had a couple issues that I felt pretty stupid on. Not that the sorter would mess up, but things that were just like, it's like, why didn't I think about that before? And one of them is the redstone for the tracks and whatnot. If I had slid over the top over to the left or the bottom over to the right, I could have used one line of redstone to power both the top and the bottom, which I end up doing. It makes it, it gets rid of one block of width here, and then obviously less redstone and blocks as well. The other thing that I changed is, and this was like a big issue with like entity lag and stuff, is just bottlenecking everything through redstone. I don't know why I decided to do redstone when you could just break the carts and toss them into the water stream, which is what I ended up doing. And it not only is it you don't build up the lag here, but it gets the carts back to the system much faster, and that means you're less likely to pause your system because you're waiting on the carts to get back. And the third thing that I've improved over this version is this is a 12 game tick. I've lowered it to 10 game tick. And with that, I have what I believe has made the input much more compact. So you can see this is kind of cluttered here. And we'll go down here to these versions, just the different directional ones. So you can see up here, just breaking into the water stream, and then they fall down. And then right here, I had to change up, to make it a little more compact so it hits both rails at the same time. So it's hitting this and then the one below it, so they switch. And that's all around there. And here's the input down here. So on the other one, I split the track here to go two different routes. And the reason for that was I had issues with the speed and the items dropping off in the hoppers. Well, using the item filters, it's able to pull it down even at 10 game ticks without any issues. So I could have the one track here and only have the one side, and then split it downstream to be sorted, pre-sorted, and then send the carts up there. But outside of that, pretty much everything else is the same. I can run through this real fast. Okay, and so here is this input at work here. Same function as far as like sorting the shulker boxes over to the shulker box unloader. That's all the same. And then once the actual items start coming through, I also made this a little more, brought it in tight here with the carts dropping down. Now we see these, and one of the issues I had with speeding it up was the detector rail system was too slow. So I then got rid of the detector rail and went with just hopper detection of when the item drops in to send the signal to change the rails and all that. So while this is going, here's the prototype that I was making. Now, because I wanted to see if I can make it faster, but really uh, Jonathan Peters and I would regularly talk about the philosophy of simplicity versus complexity and like what you're getting out of it. So like something could be way more complex, and if it provides a great benefit, that's fine. But if the benefit is very small, it's much better to go with something that's simpler, easier to build, et cetera, et cetera. I did have a way to do, because these are effectively each side can handle like 20 game tick, which is why two of them, you can do 10 game ticks. I could get it down to 16, which might open an avenue for a 8 game tick, but it would definitely make the whole system much more complex and bigger, more exotic items, that kind of thing. So that was kind of out of the question. But what I wanted to do was utilize the minecart, because the general gist of how all these multi-item stores that I've been working on, and most people that do the similar ones, is you get one stack of item in a cart, and then 4 filter items. But in my case, I have an index cart that has the 4 filter items. The other one just has 4 empty spaces. So you'll get, it's just like a waste of space. So I wanted to come up with something that would utilize that space in the cart, and this is what I came up with, and I'll just kind of run through what it does. So the items come down onto the pressure plate here, which will launch a cart. The cart picks up 4 filter items that are stackable. It'll pick up a stack of items. Then it'll drop those filter items off that it picked up into here. And at the same time, another cart's being launched down here shortly after the first one that picks up filter items, and it comes up here, and the other one goes here. It splits it because it's a 10 game tick, and it'll drop. Now it's no longer has any filters, it's filterless, so it just has the up to one stack of items that it had from there, and it'll drop up to 5 depending on how many items in the stack it has. It'll drop 1 of each in each of these hoppers. And the bottom cart comes up here, and they're timed to go to the same side as the top cart. And it will, at the same time it's dropping off a filter, it'll pull one down, but it's in reverse order. Because the way carts or inventories fill up in general is, it's like a book, the top leftmost, and it goes to the right and then down and whatnot. So if the only space you have available is the last slot in a cart, it will fill that. And then if you open the 4th slot, it doesn't matter if it can stack in the 5th slot, it will put it in the 4th slot and the 3rd slot and the 2nd slot and so on. So you want to keep 1, 2, 3, 4 filled up, so it'll get the first item here without any issue because it'll get only 4 items, and then it has 1 empty slot open. It'll pick up the first and maybe only one, and then it'll drop these filters off, filling 5, 4, 3, 2 up. So in a perfect situation, it would have 1 in each slot of the same item. So then it goes through here, and the top one, which now is either empty or has some of that left over, comes over here, gets destroyed. The minecart goes that way to go back to the system, and any items that were left in the cart drop down here for the bottom cart to then pick up with whatever it has left in its inventory. And so, if you had a full stack, it would be, what is it, 60, 1111 or whatever it would be. And you go down here, and then they merge up here, because then they come back to where the initial items are, and they go underneath them to then try and pick up a maximum of 5 stacks of that item. And then it goes through here, so it picks up another set of filters, just in case it didn't have enough to fill up all 5 slots. That way you don't get different items in the same minecart. Picks up the filter items, tries to get as much of the item it currently has in there, comes back here, drops it off, and then we go through the same pre-sorting that I use on all my other sorters to determine what kind of item it is, and then send it on its way. and it goes up, and same kind of thing. It's just this time it has upwards of 5 stacks per cart instead of just 1 stack maximum. And just a quick little, yeah, it'll work. Probably gonna pick all that up at once. So the downside, I haven't worked it out completely where it's 100% reliable, because and like large testing, I would get some random issue that I have to fix, and so the big issue though is it slows down it's front loaded in the work, whereas it takes a little bit to get going, but once it gets going, it's really fast, especially if you have a certain balance of items, like a lot of a certain type. And I don't know what the breakdown is, where if you have more than 2 or 3 stacks, it's faster, or 2 stacks. I want to say it's like in the 90 item range, or maybe even 2 stacks. I don't know, but it does have a top end speed of well over 300 items per hour. So on the high end, it can get way faster than even the one I'm showcasing today. But the issue is that's not fairly common for what people would be using it for. And so through doing a lot of testing, I found that the average it was kind of doing compared to the other one wasn't much higher. It was higher for sure, but it wasn't so much higher where it's like all this extra stuff over here complicating the input. It was fun to build, and maybe if I can think of a better way to do it or make it more efficient, or I don't know, speed up the front loaded part of it, maybe I would consider doing it. But if anyone has a good idea for it and they want to kind of continue that on, maybe by all means. But in the meantime, I was just, this one's much more compact and simpler, and it's still really fast. I mean, you're well over 100 items a second, and so that's why I kind of went with this. So the downloads will be in the description for anyone that wants to toy around with them. I have one side is for those are the non-shulkers. So this is, you don't use shulker boxes, and these are the shulker box variants, and they're all directional. I've already done all the work on that. So all right, thank you.